What is going on, Bucs fans and CFP fans? Evan Wanish here, back at you via another video talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And today I am joined by Mr. Bucs Nation, aka James Hill. You know him, some love him. James, how are you doing tonight?
Good. Today's offensive line day. Woo! The most exciting group in the world to talk about. Ready for it.
Of course, yes. We are reviewing the offensive line. It is continuing the position group reviews that we are doing on the channel here. So if you haven't checked out the previous few, which by this point we've put out a good bit, go check them out. But we are going to be talking about the offensive line here. And this will actually be the last one on the offensive side of the football. So before we move on to the defense. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Obviously, your starters being Tristan Wirfs at left tackle. Matt Filer started the year at left guard. Aaron Stinney finished it. So that tells you just about how that went at left guard for the Buccaneers. Robert Hainsey at center, Cody Mauch at right guard, and then Luke Gedeke at right tackle. There was, before the season, I think there was a lot of uneasy, feelings about this offensive line. Maybe a little bit of, optimism, some hope, I guess you could say, because you had a lot of moving pieces. You had Tristan Wirfs moving from the right side to the left side. You had Luke Gedeke moving from left guard to right tackle. You had Robert Hainsey again being full-time center. You had a right guard, a rookie right guard from North Dakota State, and Cody Mauch. Then you had a veteran in Matt Filer. You also had some depth behind him. There was a lot of question marks here, right? A lot of question marks. Is Tristan Wirfs going to be able to transition to the left side and make it, as easy as he has made it look over on the right side? Is Luke Gedeke? Because look, Luke Gedeke struggled at left guard last year. Was his struggles going to continue at right tackle, right? Or would he be able to rebound in a big way at the position he played in college? Would Cody Mauch be overpowered early on in the NFL? Could Robert Hainsey prove that he belonged as a starting center in the NFL? What were your overall impressions of the offensive line and compared to the expectations that you had for them coming into the season?
So one important thing to note is this is the second year in a row that the Bucs have had to bench their left guard due to poor play. That's not great. That is not great at all. This is also the second year in a row that Robert Hainsey had to start at center, and Evan, I think he got worse. And look, I like Robert Hainsey. I really do. I think he's still a capable offensive lineman. I don't know if he's meant to play center. So the reason I say that is this: coming in, there was a lot of questions. So many different guys. Basically, Hainsey was the only returning starting guy at his spot, right?
Yep.
And you had some stuff work out. I mean, you had Wirfs and Gedeke both do very well in their respective tackle positions. Cody Mauch did fine coming in out of South Dakota State, and that's a good thing. I think you can feel pretty optimistic about him being your starter next year. I would say that if Ryan Jensen's done, which is what a lot of people are expecting him to be,
all signs point to, it's not official, but all signs point to Ryan Jensen. I know I just want to mention this because there is some fans that are still holding out some hope. You can hold out some hope, but all signs are pointing towards him probably not playing football again.
So with that being said, I would say for this offensive line, me personally, if you can't get both a new center and a new left guard, I would go out and try and get, honestly, maybe one of the top centers out there, Evan, and then move Hainsey back over to left guard and run an offensive line like that. I think that that's something that could very much improve this offensive line.
So you feel Robert Hainsey would be better suited at left guard?
Yes, because people forget, because it wasn't much time when he was doing this. Before Jensen went down, he was competing and was probably going to be the starting left guard.
True.
Before Ryan Jensen went down with injury. So I could see a very similar situation. This isn't a great comparison, but Ali Marpet went from playing right guard, was fantastic, played at center,
was okay.
Was okay, moved him back to guard, and he was still fantastic. So we could see something like that with Hainsey, where he gets moved to guard and he improves. And I think the experience at center does help him out a lot, right? In terms of just getting
Right.
experience at one of the harder positions on the line, probably the hardest position on the line, being the center. I just think he'd probably be a better guard. And I think that if you get a good center in free agency or spend a high draft pick to get a good center, you move Hainsey over to guard. I think that'll go a long way in helping improve this offensive line.
Yeah, I think it definitely could, and I think either way, I think you're going to need to have a different starter at center and left guard. Week 1, 2024. All right, I think you're going to have a different starting center and starting left guard than you did week 1, 2023. I just think you're gonna have to, because I mean, really, what other, like, the other spots, the other three spots on the line, like, you don't really need to upgrade. Like, Wirfs obviously is Wirfs. Luke Gedeke, like, yeah, if he struggled this past year, there would have been questions, but like, he showed signs of life. Like he, there was times where he struggled, of course. Like, he's still a young tackle. Like, it's gonna struggle. But at the same time, he improved a lot. He was arguably the Bucks' most improved player, I think, compared to what his rookie season was. And then Cody Mauch, again, coming from such a small school, jumping right into the NFL, starting in the NFL, it's gonna take some time.
Yeah,
So
from the jump. I mean, from
yes,
the
yes,
jump. There
literally.
there wasn't even a question about him not being a
Yes,
starter.
he was the guy right away. I mean, spent a second round pick on him, like, he was the guy.
Yeah, so I mean, no, I agree. I mean, those guys showed a lot of growth and improvement basically by sheer necessity.
Yeah, yeah. So obviously, headed into 2024, you're sort of expecting, are you expecting more growth from Malk? Are you expecting more growth from Gedeke? Do you think the additions along the offensive line at center and left guard could maybe help out those guys, right? If a better center is next to Malk, do you think that helps him? Tristan Wirfs, he was dealing with some injury at times, but at times there was a few times when he did struggle a bit at left tackle. I remember there was a stretch of a few games where he was a little banged up and struggled there. Do you think a better left guard would maybe help Tristan Wirfs become even more dominant? How do you think adding those two pieces in the interior there would help the rest of the guys?
Oh, absolutely it helps. I mean, would Donovan Smith, you know?
Yeah,
Uh,
without Ali Marpet next to him, not sure if
yeah,
Donovan Smith has the
I
same
mean,
success he does.
that's a great example. And then center, I mean, Ryan Jensen was the linchpin of this offensive line
Yeah,
for since he got brought in. And I said it earlier, center's the most important position along the offensive line.
the only one that's going to touch the football every play. So
If you have a really good center, that can go a long way in helping out your offensive line. And it's all because of communication, and it's all because of leadership. Like, you want the center to essentially be the top dog in your O line, and you're eating good, essentially, right? That's why the Bucks were so successful whenever Jensen was around. I would and I say that to say this, I would think the Bucks would be in on some of the top centers in free agency this year, or round 1, round 2, Evan, if they
yeah,
take a
I
center.
mean, you got Jackson Powers Johnson from Oregon. I mean, the Bucks are sitting there at 26. Wouldn't shock me if the Bucks tried to maybe move down a few spots, pick up another pick, maybe pick him, or B, just freaking take him at 26. Like, wouldn't I know we have a whole draft process to go, but he's killing it right down, in Mobile now at the Senior Bowl. So he's a nasty, really Ryan Jensen-esque type guy. Think the Buccaneers would have their eye on him. So he's a guy I think could catch the eye of the Buccaneers brass.
And I want to say this, like, I know some people are like, oh, like, a lot of people don't think about offensive line, right? It's just one of those things that people don't put a lot of thought into. But boy, oh boy, when you have a good one, you appreciate it. When you have a bad one, you notice it.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Bad
a great line.
offensive line versus a good offensive line. So, I mean, it is, yeah, it matters. Absolutely. So I would 100% say, I would say that center and left guard have got to be, aside from bringing back their own guys, Evan, for bringing in new pieces, specifically for bringing in new pieces, it's got to be towards the top of priority list, if not the top priority.
Yeah, I mean,
Edge rusher, which we'll get
yeah,
into that later
yeah,
on,
yeah,
but it at least priority number 2, right?
yeah, yeah, right. And look, like, I think the three things you need to win a Super Bowl, is good quarterback, good offensive line, good defensive line. Like if you don't have those three things, you're not gonna win the Super Bowl. So I feel like everything else you can sort of maybe makeshift at times, but you need those three things. And yeah, the offensive line is so important. And I love that line. When you have a good one, you don't really appreciate it as much as you should. You sort of take it for granted. But when you don't have it, you definitely notice that you don't have it. And basically, I mean, 2019 to 20, I mean, I would say what 2019 to 2021, that 3 year stretch. 2022 it was still decent, but faltered off a little bit. But that 3 year stretch of 2019 to 2021, the Bucs have one of the best offensive lines in the entire NFL. So definitely missed those days. But let me know what you guys think about the Bucs offensive line. Do you think they need to upgrade at center? Do you think they need to upgrade a left guard? Do you think they need to upgrade anywhere else? Like, do you think maybe Cody Mauch isn't fit for it? Luke Gedeke, whatever. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Robert Hainsey, if he's not the center, should he be the starting left guard like James suggested? Do you think that's a possibility for the Buccaneers to potentially do? Or do you think they should just wipe the slate clean, get a brand new center, brand new left guard, and call it good? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Always curious to hear. Thanks so much to James for joining me on this video. Everybody can subscribe to James' channel at Mr. Bucs Nation. You've seen him on this channel a bunch. You've seen me. You've seen Rhett on his channel a bunch. So we're kind of, partners in a way in this whole YouTube thing. So we appreciate all the support. And thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And go Bucs.